Hi, everybody. We are the Wildlife Wire, and we're finally back with another video. No, you still have to wait a bit longer for Giant Panda, but we did get a new Planet Zoo DLC. It's not exactly in our wheelhouse, but we will be reacting to it and just giving our general thoughts in this little short video. So, without further ado, my name is Dominic Noche. I received my bachelor's degree in wildlife biology from the University of Montana, and I currently work on small and medium-sized carnivores in upstate New York.
And I'm Justin Ruby, also got my bachelor's from the University of Montana, and currently working in education.
All right, let's get to it, Justin. Let's see what they've got for us. So, we are getting farm animals. We are getting domestic animals. We are not getting wild animals. And are we disappointed? Yeah, we're disappointed. Is it a bad pack, though, is the difference. And obviously, Jurassic World Evolution 2 just got the Secret Species pack, which was pretty embarrassing. Our Mesozoic siblings at the Skeleton Crew talk quite a lot about it, and while I'm disappointed for this pack, I would not say that it's nearly as bad. Farm animals and petting zoo stuff has been very highly requested, and even though it's not my cup of tea, it's still nice to see that those people are finally going to have the tools to play around, because it's not just the new animals, it's also the fact that we're getting new guest interactions to kind of facilitate a petting zoo properly. We're not getting that eighth exhibit animal, but we are going to be getting over 60 scenery pieces that honestly look really nice. So maybe it's, if you're not thrilled about the farm animals, it might be worth picking up just for the scenery pieces, because it is the same price. And yeah, I think that just makes it a good pack, and it's still the same price. That's the crazy thing to me too, is like we got 7 animals, all this scenery, new mechanics, all this stuff, and it's still $10.
Yeah. So it seems worth it, but
yeah, it's definitely. And I would say I'm gonna kind of say pretty much exactly what Alex Rubenstahl said for the hybrids pack, where these 7 animals could have been actual animals, because let's be honest, domestic animals are kind of a science experiment that humans have conducted on wild animals over several generations, and molding them into these specific things that we find useful or attractive as a trophy. So these could have been 7 slots that could have gone to animals that I would have liked a lot more. I do not see myself using any of these animals. But it's still, again, something highly requested. I will say, biggest mistake, do not reveal this on Earth Day. That, whoever decided that was a good idea, that was not a good idea. If you're gonna reveal domestics, don't do it on a day that we're trying to celebrate wild and nature and things like that. It's not a smart move.
Yeah, but and I also think that while it does seem kind of odd for a zoo game to have a Barnyard Pack to some people, they might think that's weird. The reality is most zoos at some point of the whole, layout of the zoo have a petting zoo somewhere. So it is kind of an integral part of the zoo experience, which Frontier is trying to create.
Yeah,
so.
And for people that want to build that sort of thing because it's a piece that they want to add to their zoo, that's great. You now have that option. I do think it's kind of interesting that they picked very specific breeds instead of making it general and maybe having a bunch of alternate skins to represent different breeds. But I think the modding community is going to have a field day with this. I think they're actually pretty excited because we now have those new petting zoo interaction mechanics, and so they're going to be able to adapt that to a lot of existing models because we didn't get any new models. These were all reused. You know, the chicken is a similar rig to the peafowl, and then we've already had a lot of these ungulate ones for a while now. So I think that, you know, because even though it was scenery and animals, in terms of effort on the animals, it was very low effort. So I do want to address another thing. A lot of people have been saying that this is the last DLC. I do not think this is the last DLC. I think that based on the fiscal year report that we had gotten, I've talked about this with Old Country, who you might be familiar with. He used to be a Planet Zoo YouTuber, and we discussed the kind of the fiscal year report. Made it definitely sound like we were going to be getting multiple DLCs this year. And I think another interesting thing is that with these 7 animals, that brings the total number of animals in the game to 187. And so that is only 13 animals off from a clean 200. And if we get another scenery pack plus another animal pack, that is 13 animals exactly. Obviously, that's just speculation. But if they were shooting to have a full finished roster of 200 animals, it would mean that we would be getting 2 DLCs or maybe potentially one big one where they did 13 animals and a bunch of scenery. I don't know. But I do not think that this is the last DLC, so I don't want to see people doom posting really saying that it is. They've given no indication that this is the final one, and I think that was kind of the same thing with the Hybrids pack. The Hybrids pack probably is not the final Jurassic World Evolution 2 DLC, and I think that's the same case with this farm pack.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe, I mean, the thing like wild ass, like I'd rather use the wild ass over the donkey. They're really taunting me because we got the alpaca, which means now all 4 camels in the game are purely domestic, and we did not get a single wild camel. Which, it's just, I like my wild camelids, and they just never get appreciated, I guess, and we're gonna have to wait another game to finally get them in. But it's always, they pick the llama over the guanaco. You Justin, you know how upset I was about the llama being picked over the guanaco. I was not happy. So, yeah, having the alpaca is a little bit of a salt in the wound because now it's 4 domestic camels, 0 to wild. But, yeah. People want to put them in their petting zoos, I guess that's fine. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to be overly negative because, as we said, it's even if it's not for us, it's still a good pack.
Been requested, yeah.
And we might still, I think we'll still cover it. I think what we might do is we might just do like a big domestic, you know, long, quick video, and maybe we just talk about the domestication process and how they split from their wild ancestors, and just also how livestock and agricultural industries can actually create a lot of conservation issues, whether that's through habitat destruction, hybridization, disease, just general invasive species competitive interactions. So there is some important pieces that we can have, and it's a good excuse for us to throw the other 3 camels in there because I'm still a little bit salty about the camel thing. So you can have those 7 plus 3 extra camels, and it'll be, you know, a giant video with 10 domestic animals in it. So I think that might be something to look forward to. Do you have anything else to add, Justin?
No, I think that's about it. You know, it's something that the community has really wanted, so it's nice to see that Frontier was listening and gave the people what they wanted, basically.
Yeah.
And from a complete zoo perspective, like if you're building a zoo, it's hard not to have a petting zoo, so
yeah,
it's nice to have that.
I think the other thing too is, I know that you don't frequent the forums that much, and honestly nobody should, because they're, even especially now, they are a mess. It is so toxic. But honestly, I do feel that this pack was a little bit of a middle finger to the toxic people on the forums because they knew, like, it was just kind of like, all right, you got to complain about every animal we give you. Fine, here, have the domestics that have no new rigs. Like, I think that was great because I don't think it's necessarily the modding community themselves. It's just people that really, like, take all of the modding stuff for granted and kind of act, like, very, like, shill-esque. So I do think that this was a little bit of a middle finger, and I'm like, all right, Frontier, that's pretty good. You calling out those toxic people. So all in all, I'm not excited for this pack, but at the same time, I think I'm excited for anybody that is. And I think the more that I've had deep thought on it, the more positive I felt on it. It's just not something for me.
Yeah, and like you said, it was just kind of a weird announcement to wake up to on Earth Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day! Here's a bunch of domestic animals.
Yeah, Happy Earth Day.
Feels a little disingenuous, but yeah. So that's our thoughts. You can let us know what you think in the comments. If you think I'm wrong and that all these animals are terrible and that Frontier's gonna collapse because it's just such a bad company. Don't comment that, please, because it would be kind of annoying. But I guess if you really want to, just know that we're going to ignore it. But with that said, we're the Wildlife Wire, signing off.
See you next time.